Hi, good evening. Was popping. Buenos sera. ¿Cómo estai? Hope everything's good. Queens, Big Rich, you know how we doing. Friday night action. Mob stories. Let's get into business. By the way of Gangland, salute to Jerry Capisci. The movie was better. Last U.S. gangster snared by Stool, Pigeon, and videotaped Induction pleads guilty. The video that captured a 2015 Mafia initiation rite was pretty sensational. The resulting prosecutions, not so much. Last week, the last holdout U.S. defendant snared by feds after authorities videotaped a Bonanno crime family induction in Canada copped a plea deal. In a pretty humdrum proceeding, Salvatore Russo admitted to selling cocaine along with his cousin, Damiano Zummo, the acting capo who presided over the initiation rite in November of 2015. Let me put Damiano's picture over there. Bow. Russo, 46, faces a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years behind bars and a maximum of 40 years for selling a kilogram of coke to an undercover operative at a Manhattan ice cream parlor 2 years ago. Yo, you got that special gelato for me? You know, the white flavor. Wink, wink. The plea agreement prosecutors Tanja Hajar, sounds Indian, and Drew Roll worked out with defense lawyer Joseph Conway calls for a recommended prison term up to 9 years. In an unusual sop for Russo, the agreement permits Conway to appeal any sentence above 5 years. Zumo, who pled guilty to the same crime last year, is the previously unknown wise guy who was seen and heard congratulating mob snitch Disgracia Vincent Enzo Moreno. And let's put this snitch's picture up real quick. Disgracia. Zumo, who pled guilty to the same crime last year, is the previously unknown wise guy who was seen and heard congratulating mob snitch Vincent Enzo Morena as a made man, noting that from this day forward, you're going to be an official member of the Bonanno family. In a video that prosecutors stated was an extraordinary achievement for law enforcement. The two other U.S. mob connected defendants who were snared by Morena in the joint probe by U.S. and Canadian law authorities, Gambino soldier Paul Simplice and Bonanno associate Paul Ragusa. Both have been sentenced and are currently serving their respective prison terms. Russo, who had been free on a $500,000 bond since his arrest in November 2017, also faces up to 2 additional years behind bars for selling the load of cocaine while he was serving 3 years of super release for a 2016 federal tax fraud conviction when he is sentenced by Brooklyn federal judge Eric Vitaliano. The sentencing date will be firmed up after the probation department completes a pre-sentence investigation report and submits it to Judge Vitaliano, the normal practice in federal court. That routine was followed by judges in the cases of Simplice, 55, who was sentenced to 28 months for loan sharking, and Ragusa, 48, who got 6 years for trying to buy a cache of weapons while he was finishing up a long stretch in a halfway house. But the sentencing status of Zumo, who pled guilty in December, whose plea agreement recommends a prison term of 5 years, the mandatory minimum for the crime, is a mystery. There is no mention of his sentencing on the docket sheet, which does contain several requests by his attorney, Stephen Brill, for changes in Zumo's bail conditions for one reason or another. Zumo, who was detained as a danger to the community when he was arrested in November of 2017, was ordered released on $2 million bond 2 months later in January of last year. He is currently resigned to his Roslyn Heights home at night, but free to leave from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. to work at a Queens construction company. The most recent request by Zumo's attorney, which was okayed by the government and pretrial services, PTS, which monitors in his activities and approved by Judge Vitaliano, allows him to make curfew modification requests directly to PTS in order to avoid inundating the court with periodic requests. Rather than speculate about Zumo's status, Gangland sought the straight scoop from the opposing parties in the case, but alas, it's still a mystery. Brill has not returned numerous calls regarding Zumo's status. Asked why nearly 9 months after Zumo pled guilty, prosecutors have not pushed to have him sentenced for his crimes. A spokesman for the Brooklyn U.S. Attorney's Office said no comment. Well, first of all, why would anybody want to know why somebody isn't in jail yet? Interesting. Anyways, your boy Big Rich again. Salute to the people over at Gangland. Great article. And you know how we do. Mob stories. Big Rich, Shattered, Ruckus Radio.